Okay, so the last part of today's Arduino Ninjas course is trying to get our proximity sensor to make our LEDs change colors. What we want to do is we want the LED to always be green. And then when the proximity sensor detects something, we want that LED to change from green to red. So green all the time. If you detect something, go red. How do you think we might set that up? Get an idea in your head, and let's go into the code and give it a go. Okay, now that we've got our proximity sensor appearing to do something, we now need to check what the logic of that sensor is. So that way we can use it in a program. Not all switches, as I kind of pointed out before, are high when they're on. So let's jump into the code and I'll show you how to work it out yourself. So I've built a very, very simple sketch. I've defined our sensor SNS on pin 13. I've set the sensor pin up as an input, and I've started the serial connection exactly as we did before. In the loop, all I've done is I've said print to the serial connection the value on digital read of the sensor line. And if we upload that and go to the serial monitor, what you can see is we're getting a lot of ones. If I put my hand nearby, the light comes on and we get zeros. So 0 means detected, 1 means not detected. So we might need to think about this as 1 as being clear, 0 as not clear. Now we can use this to work out what's going on in our logic, and we'll build this into our code to actually make the red and the green LEDs do something. So here we are in the Arduino IDE. So far, I've got a sensor defined on pin 13, and I've set that up as an input. That's all I've done. We now need to set up the two LEDs as outputs. So I'm going to go hash define grn, and I put green on pin 3, hash define red on pin 2. If you've plugged them in somewhere else, you'll need to change those numbers. And we need to set these up as outputs. So this should be coming second nature by now. Pin mode, green output, pin mode, red output. And what do we want to happen? Well, we want the red LED to be on only when the sensor is, if you remember we said when the sensor is low. So let's just make this as easy as we can. Let's go int current state equals, we want to read from the sensor, digital read sensor. So now at the beginning of our loop, our current state is whatever the sensor says it is. If current state is low, now that means that there's an object there. Then we want the red light on and the green light off. So we're going to say digital write red high, digital write green low. And if it's not in that state, so else, we're going to take the exact same code and just reverse the low and the high. So this is really very straightforward. Read the current value of the sensor. If it's low, then the digital write, we're going to make red go high, on, green go low, off. Otherwise, we'll do it the other way around. Let's upload it and see if it works. And let's go to the board. So I immediately notice we do not have a high green value here. And that is because I actually forgot to wire up the other ground. Now it works. Green's now on. My hand comes near the sensor and we get red. What would be nice is if we could work out a way where it would go to red, we move our hands away, and it only goes back to green if a certain time has elapsed. We've done some time delay stuff already. Have a think about how you might make that work. I'll give you the answer in a minute, but have a think. Okay, so working from our debounce circuit and borrowing code and stealing ideas from there. If you remember there, we wanted to only trigger our switch if the time had been more than 50 milliseconds. So what I've done is I've created two long variables, unsigned longs. One I have called trigger time, which will hold the time at which the proximity sensor is triggered. And the other one holds a constant, which is my delay time. In this case, I've set it to 5,000 milliseconds, 5 seconds. I've then gone down into the loop. The only changes I've made are, after we set the red LED high and the green LED low, when it is triggered, I have recorded the time when the triggering happened. So that uses this millis function. Records the time in milliseconds now into the variable trigger time. Then, in the else part of the statement, so if the proximity sensor is not detecting an object, instead of just changing it straight back to a green light, I've put in an if condition. If the time now, according to the millisecond timer, minus the trigger time, so the time it was triggered, is greater than my delay time, so if there's been a longer than 5-second delay, then I can switch back. Otherwise, it goes back around the loop again and again and again until this is true, or until we get another proximity detection, in which case this trigger time timer gets reset. So I wonder if your solution was the same, different. There's more than one way to actually solve this problem. Where might you use this? Well, I'll show you that in a separate little video.